Alright, welcome Dawn of Titans community, and this is your host, the Late Night King. Welcome to the kingdom. Tonight we have a special event analysis for the most recent Sound of Silence event. Sounds of Silence. Alright, now oh wow, there is a bluish glare. I don't know if you guys can see that there. I don't think that's been there all day. It's like the sun rising over the mountains here. That's pretty freaking sweet. Yoon and Rebel, welcome to the stream, man. Okay, so I'm a little bit conflicted on this event, but because of anything. Okay, I'm glad that it's just not a glitch in mine. I actually like it. It's kind of nice. Sun coming over the mountains there. Alright. So, let me go ahead and actually set up Discord in case anyone joins me as well. Invite people. Copy. And post in chat. Alright. Well, and then you guys make me feel like I'm not going entirely nuts. Okay, so going on into this event, the first thing I want to point out to you guys, we'll get into the Titans and the relics down the road. The thing that stands out to me most is any time 1.5 or a 2.0 boost. Drew, welcome to the stream. This essentially makes relics immensely more powerful. And so when you get to Voldan, that's when you use your relics. If you wait till that point, they go a lot further for you. And so that's going to take into account the push for those upper tier relics as well as Titans, simply because it's going to make them easier to get. So we'll take that into account as we look through this event. Now, individual ranking, Divine Gems, great item. I actually am preferring them over 4-star Titans now, so I'm glad that they have this little setup. In the rewards category, we have the traditional lower tier. One thing to point out here is that there are less Earth tokens in this event for us. If you guys are able to notice, we got 1, 2, 3 between 2,500 and below, but there is not one at that 5,000, 6,000 mark. Now, that normally concerns me if there aren't enough gems to replace it. So if we count up the gems in this, we've got our 2,500. That's a good mark to get to, Frank. Rob, welcome to the stream. So we have the 75 gems there, the 500 gems, and as we go further, we have 1,500. So that's 2,075 gems by 10,000. That is not good. But at this 16,000 mark, we have a 3,000 gem slot, which puts us over 5,000 for the event, but still not the most that we've seen. Now, I would normally say that's a pretty big ripoff, but we do have a 1.5 boost coming at 11,000. So I'm willing to put in one relic, one event relic a piece for 12, 13, 14, 15. Maybe I use 3 relics during that whole time, grinding the rest of the way, and I will net a gain in gems, and then it's an easy push for the Orb of Wealth. If I get the Orb of Wealth, I'm considering going for the Divine Gems, but 350, I haven't decided if a 2,000 soul grind, even at 1.5, is worth 350 Divine Gems. Just because as a free-to-play player, you gotta really be frugal with your gems. Now, ultimately speaking, even with the 1.5 boost, what you're getting out of this event is pretty much garbage, with the exception of obviously the Orb of Wealth. But if you go look through these items, it is good to have one, maybe two copies of these Earthsight, Earthbreaker, and these other defensive items, but the issue with them is the unit that they buff. The unit that they buff are going to be in the back end of priority for the next 6 months or later, until a efficient change happens. The units you want to be buffing are Spearmen, Archers, Panthers still, and then the upcoming Lightning Troops. So if you get these, don't expect to level them up anytime soon. They're just going to sit in your inventory as dead weight, and then my fear is that whenever Goliaths do come back into the meta, they're going to be released with upgraded relics to make them more relevant, which means these will be nothing but forge food anyway. Because I'm not really sure. I mean, there's always going to be a power scaling creep when it comes to this game, and you wait another 6 months to a year before you buff something, the relics themselves will become less and less efficient. Now, I am in a predicament. I was really hoping for a good event today, simply because 2,500, you guys are all making the right decision. I'm in a predicament because I bid 4 million VP that I would get in the War Squad, and I am going to get 4 million VP. Now, to get to 4 million VP, I grind a lot. And it's just because I didn't expect to be working as much as I have this week, and because I've been working so much, my VP lands haven't generated me anything. All the VP I've gotten is simply through, attacking garrisons and things like that, and I haven't been using my portal stones very wisely. Sometimes it's been 12 hours before I've logged in. So I bid less for next week, but I'm not the type of guy that's going to drop the ball on what I say I'm going to do. No, they're not pushing hard. But this isn't about pushing hard. This is about me saying I'm going to do something and making sure that I am going to do it. Oh yeah, well, 3,000 is great with no earth bonuses. I thought actually seriously about bringing Skolnar out for this again because I had so much fun with him before. The only problem is I have to speed raid, and we all saw how well that went last time. So I might as well be getting experience on another Titan. Now, there are a few other thoughts I want to share with you guys, because lately I've been talking a lot about the balance in the game, and we're using words like fair and broken and things like that. And I want to clarify some very clear concepts with you guys tonight. In this game, I do not fault, and I completely believe it is a viable strategy to spend money to get the things that you want. I am totally behind that. I think that is completely legitimate. There's a legitimate way of playing, and I still respect anyone that does it. While I'm a free-to-play player, it's by choice, not by necessity. I would prefer to spend my time as opposed to money. And so those are the two areas that I completely support in this game. I will completely back because it is playing by the rules that way. It's a level playing field. If you spend money or you spend time, or if you spend money, great. If you spend time, then you're going to have to spend a lot of it if you're going to compete at the highest level. Alright. So, that's what I think about that. Now, where I think it is unfair in this game is when people break the rules. Those that hack to get gems, those that hack to get divine gems, and, use, whatever it is out there to give themselves that extra advantage. That's where this game stops being fun. And I'll give you an analogy. Let's say that you are playing chess with one of your friends. While you had to abide by all of the traditional chess rules, their rules of the game they played were different. Their queen could jump over any unit and move to any unit on the board instantly. It wouldn't matter how many times you played the game, they would win in their first move every time because their queen could jump right to your king and take it. That is what cheating does to a game. That is what broken rules do to a game. It does not level out the playing field. The playing field is level even if someone is spending as opposed to using their playtime. The more they spend, the more advantage they get. I can support that. As a free-to-play player, I have to spend more time if I'm wanting to compete. That is a level playing field in my mind. Completely respectful either way. But when you break the rules, it makes the game unplayable for everybody. Alright, so going off that... Trap the hack, that's right. Going off that concept, let me go ahead and reevaluate the orbs for you guys. Now, the orbs, I gave a relic revealed video, and I'm a huge fan of them because they're part of a system that has rules to play by. Let's see, Drew asks, for this infiltrator, how about leading your Goliath into battle while your Titan comes up there? No. This infiltrator, you have to understand now, is not usable. He is garbage here. And that's not because I don't like infiltrators. I know there is a specific group that loves infiltrators. I respect that. But the problem is, he's got an ability buffing a unit that's not only bottom tier, but it's a on a bottom tier unit that's meant for defense. So that first skill is a throwaway. And while his other skills are buffed somewhat, it's not worth it in the long run. If you got Loki, Loki's 100 times better if you want to run an infiltrator. And even him being an Earth infiltrator doesn't make up for his lack of skills. This is just a throwaway champion that they can throw out there in the meanwhile. And Rob, I appreciate you scraping the bottom of the barrel and trying to come up with a use for this guy. And while there is technically that use, I'm going to stick to my guns on this. Alright, so going back to this Orb of Wealth, I am a huge fan of this orb. Because one, you do not get an orb for the damage it provides. Let's just throw that out there now. You get an orb for the resistances it provides. And the resistances that this one provides are going to be big in the upcoming meta. Ice will always be there because people will still run a Talus and then their ice infiltrators and things like that. But lightning, there's not a lot of orbs that resist against lightning. So this is, I'm liking this relic the more that I look at it. So I think there's 2 orbs that give lightning resist, and I may be wrong about that. There may be only this one. So it's a very valuable orb, but it is not 17,000 souls valuable. So keep that in mind if you are doing this event, because don't convince yourself to get it, because you are going to be grinding a lot of time and gems into it. See, I did have something else to say about orbs. Let me try to remember that real quick. Yeah, the orbs play by the fair... Oh yeah, this is important for anyone to understand about these orbs. In the highest level of competition that Dawn of Titans has, orbs like this, you are not getting them to get greens on your garrison. You are getting them to buy you seconds of time as people attack you. You cannot consider that you are going to build a defense that is impregnable. I know I've said that before, and so what you are trying to do is stall out as long as you can. At the highest level, yes, you could have a garrison that does a ton of damage and does it quickly. The problem with that is if you beat your opponent too quickly, they get out and can attack again once they've seen your defenses. But if you drag it out, they spend minutes and minutes inside. That gives you the ability to hit their castle, cap their lands, and use all your portal stones before they get out of attacking your castle. That's the power of defensive guardians. And, to be bluntly honest with you, you've got to start thinking of relics in that manner, defensive relics specifically. If this buys me 10 seconds, is that going to be enough to get that extra attack off whenever my alliance is in a war with another alliance? Clash over Alex, good to have you in here. So, for example, this week, we have been at war. Let me bring this up. I don't want members, dang it. Alright, so leaderboard. We have been at war with Event Team, Ancient Gods, and we just pummeled them, destroyed them this week. But during the course of the week, they were hitting us and capping us, and VP was stagnant on some days, especially for those with weaker castles. If I look back at my history, as you can see, they are still capping my lands. Or at least the people here are still capping them. I go down here and you'll see a lot of defended stuff. But from when it comes to my garrison, my subpar Titan, even a subpar Titan with decent relics, is able to get some good defenses off. I've been defending roughly about 55% of the time. And I should probably swap it out, but my Siegfried I've been using to crush all defenses. And by the way, Siegfried is stupid broken now. There is no defense that you can hit. Oh, and that brings me to another point. Even though I can beat any defense with my Siegfried right now in his level 20 archers, the reason why I keep leveling those archers, the reason why I keep pumping relics for my Siegfried despite him being able to win any time, is once again the game of seconds. Every level I get for my archers gives me a little bit more damage and a little bit more health. And so whenever I go into a battle, I can sacrifice more of my positioning for speed. And when you're at this high level, speed is everything. Think in seconds. While you can beat any garrison with one of your Titans, a Ranger kiting people around, the bottom line is it is slow as anything, and you will not get net VP gained. Joseph, welcome. And so keep leveling your units. If you want to compete in Legend, if you want to be that guy that's part of non-toxic when we start taking first every week, then you have got to refine your attack style. You have got, and don't even worry about losses being taken in a fight. Worry about how fast that you can take down a garrison. Drum here, I think since he's level 25, he's able to pick on just about anyone. But the lower level castles, even though they have great defenses, even like mine, level 22, he could probably run that thing over in 30 seconds, flat. And because he can run it over in 30 seconds, he could hit 4 or 5 garrisons before someone has not mounted enough power to hit him, which means he's netting 100,000 VP for every 10, 20,000 he's losing. And so if you are considering fighting up at this highest level, no, it's not good enough to have a Titan that can win. You have to have a Titan that can win fast. It's not good enough an attack. You have to have a Titan that is going to stall it out. If you can win, great, but it's a game of seconds up here. So take that into consideration. All right. Welcome all of those that are here. 2,500 is the goal. That's great. I have doomed myself tonight in particular, or this weekend in particular, because I said I was going to get 4 million VP, and I have had a hugely busy week. And so it's going to come down to the grind. And that is what I am prepared to do. Alright. As you guys... Ooh. Okay. So, beyond all of that, I'm going to do a quick arena and all that good stuff. Oh, one other reason that you may want to consider doing this event, and this is important, guys, is that on Monday we have a fusion event that is going to reduce the cost of doing Titan fusions. Pisces, welcome to our Discord, man. I don't think... Pisces? Pisces, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Welcome to Discord, man.
Thanks. I just realized you're streaming. YouTube notification sucks. It's literally so off that I got a notification about a video that was posted 4 days ago.
That is funny. But so true. Yeah, but fusion event on Monday, if you're going to do this event, starting on, if you already have a full Titan setup, then, for example, on Saturday, I am going to start, I will, beginning of the day, fuse all of the Titans out of my relic inventory, and I will start saving all of the Titans I get from that point on, because I know that they'll stay around until Monday, and I can max out basically max out my Titan XP, and with 6 million food, I should be able to do quite a bit, considering it's going to be half cost.
So you're guaranteed a fusion on Monday?
Yeah, there is a Relic and Titan fusion event, and it's going to be half cost for food. So that is a pretty big development. Once again, I want to remind everyone real quick, anytime that you can request reinforcements, do so. You know, even if you don't necessarily need them, it is free gems for those that donate. And you get that concept going on, it'll net you free gems in the long run too, as everyone else in your alliance requests them. Infiltrators, once again, they have their subset of people that enjoy them. It's just not my playstyle. And so if you like the Infiltrator, great. I just think this Infiltrator is coming in with a handicap already. And while he does represent a less used element, you have Loki for that as well. And Loki's just purely better. Alright. So Pisces, Are you going to wait for the next big event before you turn to the dark side and come back?
I don't know, I think I'm gonna hop in and start doing some grinds, get some relics, because if they're gonna be a relic fusion, might as well get, use of it. And hopefully gather enough food that, I don't know, I haven't been on for so long that I don't have much Titans. I have like 55 or something like that, so might as well get those on. Hope to get the, was it Karn? Was it Karn?
The 3-star?
Yeah, just for the experience.
Fair enough. Loki is the one infiltrator I will level up and enjoy fighting with, just because his first ability is overpowered. For an infiltrator, at least.
Shit, throw a 5-star relic on that. Practically the best attacker ever.
Yeah, the best individual attacker, I'm not going to go against that. While I do like Odin's increased attack speed, I mean, Nigel, good morning, man. Alright. But yeah, I mean, if you guys aren't forced to do this event for Alliance or something like that, once again, pass. Save up your gems. Eventually, they will release something that is going to be worth your time and energy. Alright, I am going to go over, and I am raiding with Thorg right now. The reason I am raiding with Thorg in this event is he is one of the Titans that I need to level 40 so I can get that Titan what is it? Arena, Coliseum, whatever it is, the relic in there.
Pantheon.
See, here's a thought for you, Pisces, and everyone else in the channel. What are they going to do with the Rangers? Because as a class, eventually they're going to become obsolete with the more additional introduction of the X skills. While Odin is a good attempt at making them relevant, and he is going to be useful, I'm just, as a class, Rangers are supposed to deal damage. And with X armor skills, unless you are specifically getting Titan relics for armor piercing, I mean, there's going to come a point when you're just not going to be able to do enough damage to anyone you're shooting at.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see X skills on Rangers. I would have preferred if they nerf X skills a little bit. Range back what they're actually doing. Because then there's a chance that you can make armor viable again. And people would have to choose in their builds whether or not they want armor piercing or critical or damage. But right now they can have it all.
See, about that is, I think they're trying to make, because with Rangers, the way they were, it wasn't really using troops. If you understand, a lot of people try to solo with Rangers type thing. They just simply use troops to distract the troops, and that's it. So I think they're trying to make you use the troops as well as the Ranger. This way, this makes you use more of the game it's supposed to be. But with X skills, if the Titan, the Ranger ever buffed itself, like the first Jardog, that was, I still think Jardog right, because if you got lucky on the rolls, he is the best Ranger so far.
I could see that, just because what you could do with him is pretty impressive. But in regards to the meta, I'm going to go ahead and make a few predictions. When Storm Maidens come out, I honestly think, right now, if I had to put units in a meta on power level, archers are at the top. Physical is king right now. Followed closely by poison. And then going over to Imperials. And so
it's fire after poison then Imperials, because they're really long range.
They are long range, but they take damage really easily, and they don't clear very quickly. While I look at them as a counter specifically to archers. I mean, grenadiers are amazing counter, but against something like panthers, they're dead weight. And with the release of the new meta, my predictions is that archers will be knocked down a peg, put it on level with panthers, but storm maidens, until we get the right relics for them or the right X skills for them, they are going to be a tier below those two. And then the Grenadiers are going to go up probably same level as Storm Maidens, in my opinion. Just because... or go ahead.
New troops. Are they new troops ranged?
Yes, they are ranged. They have basically the same range as Grenadiers, but they're designed to take down individual units, and grouped up units they have a harder time with. So I believe Grenadiers will eat them alive, because they'll have to throw many lightning bolts, while Grenadiers will just throw one big volley and kill them. So, I mean, that's where I see Storm Maidens fitting into the meta until we actually see them in action. Due to what I've seen, they'll be a decent counter for archers, not a hard counter, a soft counter, just because they're going to be able to get off multiple shots before archers can even hit them. For the same reason, basically, Grenadiers counter archers. Alright. Now...
So, based on troops, right now, what's going to matter is whatever X skill Titans that pop up. That's going to be the game changer.
Well, I'm not even sure if their Dawn of Titans will come out with a Titan that will give them X skill. Because if you give them X skills, they already outrange most of units. They attack faster than most of the ranged units. And they're incredibly fast. If they give them X skills, those things are gonna be freaking unstoppable.
So you think they're just going to give a normal buffs?
I'm hoping that's the case until I see what they actually do. But let me read some comments in chat, because I've been ignoring them too long. Rebel says, Archer and Poison I definitely find to be the hardest defenses when buffed. Yeah, like 2 million plus. I'm right there with you, Rebel. Rob says, you should ask the other guys in there, but when I first started out, I maxed a 2-star, put it on my Garrison to defend, and that worked up. My first 3-star, put them there, and started working. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Rob. Nigel says I worked on a 3-star until I completed an event, got my first 4-star. We all had to do the grind. 2-star, get 1 poison. Rob says I had a doll car. You had a doll car on your castle? Wow. That's a callback. I get him in Titan Arenas as level 9s, and I always think back of when he used to be relevant to me, at least. Anyway, go ahead, Pisces. Sorry to interrupt.
I don't know where I was at.
Alright. But yeah, I mean, the upcoming meta, I am actually excited for. I think good things are ahead, but, we won't really know what is happening until... Man, did I attack the wrong Titan? Does he have a lot of... No, okay. Looks like my Panthers are still winning. Alright. Yeah, so, I mean, I think we have a lot to look forward to in the upcoming months. But one thing I also was listening to during that live stream, guys, is that Throne Wars is coming back soon. Did you guys hear that? I mean, I was afraid that it wouldn't be until like December. And so I'm hoping soon for them isn't like 4 or 5 months. So Chad, if you guys heard that, and August, is it really? Because I wasn't able to listen to the whole thing. If it's coming in August, oh my gosh, I'm going to start saving up gems now. It's a different way to play the game that's flipping awesome.
Yeah. I didn't actually watch the live stream, but if that is true, it's coming back, then I think players are going to find it more interesting, because that was one of the features that really got a lot of people hyped, and then it got cut off because things weren't working, and then they gave everybody free stuff, and it just hasn't been out yet ever since.
They just corrected me. They say that the storm mains are coming out in August. So I jumped the gun on that. But go ahead and finish your thought. Sorry about that. I'm just a little disappointed now.
But with Throne Wars, it's a feature that a lot of people want still, because it gives them a chance to change up how they play more than just switching titans. And with Sword Mains coming out in August, it guarantees that we'll be able to test out all the different combinations of titans. And that means sometime in September, most likely, we'll get an event that has some sort of buff for the Sword Mains besides, was it Odin?
Yeah. I honestly think they're going to redo Valkyrie to buff Storm Maidens.
They better.
I like the Trials of Power event too, Rob.
See, the Trials of Power the first time was like ridiculous.
It
was really good, but you had to attack so many times in order to get to like the final reward. And then the second time it was so ridiculous you barely got any points, and then you couldn't get anywhere. And then, they did it again, but it wasn't really like worth it. Actually, I don't know. How many times did they do it?
I think they did it 3 times.
3?
Yeah, but keep in mind, I was only present for the first one because I got really frustrated and quit the game because of how old Titan Fusion worked.
Yeah.
Good night, Drew. Thanks for joining us, man.
The first one, it was where you could score up to, I don't know, I think one of the people were 1 million for just one battle because they had a max of Vega or something.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't. Vega wasn't even out that time, was it? It had a max like Mafia.
No, it was a Talus with a bunch of Imperials. That was like the best thing that you could do.
Oh yeah, because back then the Panthers were trash.
Yeah, back then the Panthers were trash.
Yeah, and then it was, what was it? It was a 3-star Titan at 10 million for that one. As your top reward, it was a 3-star Titan for 10 million points gathered.
That's true.
That was so awful. And then when the second one came out, it was Jakor as your last Titan, but you couldn't get points. It took forever. You couldn't even get anywhere. It was so awful. I
remember when those events ran out, I had Solzar, who was my highest level ranger. So I had Solzar, as many Grenadiers as I could, and I was specifically requesting level 25 Goliaths as my meat shields. And my Grenadiers were just lobbing death. And then the Goliaths were just absorbing the damage while I had my Ranger trying to kill ranged units. So, I made it pretty far, but at the end of the day, when your units are like level 15, there's only so much you can do against level 25 units.
Yeah. it's it's something that a lot of people still want. Like, it'd be nice if like they had a guaranteed certain time of the month that they'll give us a certain version of Trials of Power. You know, if they had that, I think a lot of people would be looking forward to it every time. Like, I think if they guaranteed certain events at certain times a month, it would be really appreciated. Because I think Trials of Power was a really good one. They just didn't have it, you know, at the right time.
I could get behind that statement.
The only thing I do miss is of the old Fusion is that you could unlock the skills and the relic slots so much quicker.
The early ones, but you had to have 3-star Titans to unlock that level of skill and whatnot, and it wasn't guaranteed. So I saved up 3-star Titans to unlock the 4th skill and relic slot. So I saved up 18 3-star Titans so I could level up Skolnar's 4th slot, and I failed every single time. No matter what I was doing, I was like, I'm gonna unlock it, I just want that one slot open, and I was like, this is stupid.
It's the way you did it. Depending on how you did it, I'm pretty sure...
I tried it multiple different ways. 1 at a time, 4 at a time, leveled Titans, unleveled Titans. It wouldn't move for me.
I guess you didn't do the airplane mode either.
No, I didn't do the airplane mode.
I never did the airplane mode. It always kicked me off. So it never worked.
Yeah. I was part of that era of the unkillable Titans. Perfect skills and everything, and I have my garbage champion trying to attack them.
Back then, it was... I don't even know what Titan I used. I remember as soon as I could, I jumped into Alliance that could give me a 3-star. And when Sardu was one of the season rewards, I did my best to get him. And then when I got him, that was my main attacker for like a large portion of time. And then I got lucky from a temple pool, got Kul'dan. Really sucky skills, but you know what? I used him. At level 18, I completed a campaign that had level 20-some troops. Yeah, I think it was like level 20 troops. It was all physical. And you see a level 18 Titan actually stand there and tank so much. I was literally amazed how far I got with just Kul'dan at such a low level. He's practically the reason why I finished the campaign.
I can understand that. And I gotta tell you guys, while we're ragging on the old system, the original DOT did have its own magic to it. Alright? This was back when none of us knew what this game could even become, and we just dealt with the hand that we were given. This was back when this game still was about war. And so it was played in a different manner. This is a different game than it was back then. And so, while it may seem harsh to us, there were other things that we were able to pick up. Like, for example, the Ice Maul back then was a game-changing relic. Today, not so much. It still can have an impact, but you're not missing out on much if you don't have it. So,
yeah, back then we used to be able to get guaranteed 3-star event relics. Hashtag Theme Blames Alone.
Yeah. And one of my viewers over in Omelette actually mentioned Ascension. And anyone that remembers Ascension, you were a beta player. And if you were not a beta player, you heard about Ascension and you picked up those relic islands whenever you could, and you saved a few relics here and there. And even I saved up about 10 relics until I realized that they were never going to bring it back. And, hopefully, maybe one day that they do. But the idea of that was amazing. And those of you who are saving those, I mean, they are great little things just to remind you of what I'm just going to refer to as the good old days. Because while there were problems back then, there's problems now. You just found a way to deal with them, just like you deal with them now. And I guarantee, whenever they fix the relic forging system and they introduce storm maidens, there will be other problems that we have to deal with. My hope is that those problems are not the game-breaking type. Because if they're not the game-breaking type, we will still have a community that plays. And I have hope that the Dawn of Titans developers understand that. And I tend to believe that they do, just because the one big change that I have been incredibly happy with, and I've mentioned it before, was the change to the original relic forging system. If you think that this system is bad, you don't know what bad is, because before, it was awful. It was, you wanted to claw out your eyes, because you couldn't use 4-star relics. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
You couldn't even use relics, man. You had to forge into them to get uses. So you can use it. And for 4 stars, you can only get 8. So after 8 battles, you have to reforge all these relics. And it was a nightmare. Like, I didn't have 4-star relics back then, but man, watching all the freaking YouTubers like APOC and Drive-By Reviews, oh my god, like, it was so awful just doing like the lower ones, like 1 stars and 2 stars, because back then I was just kidding. But it was awful. Just thank God they fixed it where now it's like you can use them, it doesn't matter how many times, and all you gotta do is actually forge into them to level them up.
And if they're fixed, and yes, Game Rescue, I have those limited use relics. Good gravy. I mean, but back then we didn't know any better. We just thought that was how the game was supposed to be played. We've been spoiled with the current system, and I have faith that when they release the new relic forging system, that there will be a rhyme or reason that. So, I mean, that's my thought process. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they did it right the first time. And for the most part, they are addressing problems. And anyone who's been around since Global Launcher before know that they've been trying to address problems. They're just really, really slow at it. And so...
Well, the processes you have to go through. First, you have to go through, like, the coding. Then you have to go through, all the processes through, like, the whole boss system and everything. Then you got to put it out there where all the players have to get connected and it has to adapt to those, because they also have to make sure that when they put it out there, it doesn't freeze, crash, or break the game. So that's why it takes so long. That's why I understand why things take so long. I mean, they've been cracking down on cheating. They've been cracking down on their bugs. Thank God they freaking fixed the Goliath glitch. That was so annoying.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to agree with House of Pain that the 5-star relic forging is brutally painful. Not because of the number of relics it takes, but because you run out of food long before you run out of relics. And I think that's the way it was meant to be. Because if you have a level 12 castle guy with level 10 5-star relic, that seems really odd. Like there should be a scaling when it comes to those type of relics that are super strong. I wouldn't want to see those on like a level 6 castle fully developed. And so the food for, I mean, I think it went a lot excessive with the amount of food it takes and the amount of relic forges it takes to get to level 10. And I can say that thoroughly because I have 2 level 5 relics at level, 5-star relics at level 10.
Yeah, I guess you couldn't do one of those in a stream.
Yeah. Well, I did do that. That was like one of my first relic forging videos, was leveling up a 5-star relic. I basically had 2 streams where I got 5 levels apiece on it, and the only limitation I had was just running out of food. All right, but yeah, I mean, even if they come out in their next relic forging one, and the popular belief is that they're just going to have a preset number of a relic experience type setup that you need to level up, and I don't think that'll be bad. It'll still reward players that grind and get the relics, while giving a definitive way to get a relic all the way up. And I would not expect it to be favorable in the way that people are thinking, because if it was favorable, then everyone would get their 4-star relics leveled up very quickly. And if they do that, then it will basically reduce our satisfaction in the long run for this game. It'll force them to come out with new and better relics frequently. Anyone who's been playing for a while and has a bunch of 4-star relics already knows that these repeat relics, the likelihood of us really using them is little to none. And so, I mean, I think the Dawn of Titans team are trying to reach that point of nirvana where you have maybe 4 or 5 Titans that are fully equipped before they release something new that you need to adapt to. Because if that's the case, I mean, it's something that will keep the game fresh. Good morning, Cage. But, you know, I once again, it's easy to be the guy on this side of the table saying this is what needs to get fixed. Well, these guys, they're running a business, and their business model is very dangerously on a precipice of taking off the people that pay for it and making a sustainable game that they can, you know, keep their jobs doing. And the very fact that they're being run by Zynga and still haven't completely caved in to the entire, money grab, although some may disagree with me there, I think it is a victory in and of itself. Because they still are trying to cater some to the community. And that's a point in their favor. Now, I'm not a huge fan of how their business model is run. To be honest with you, I am there's many concerns that I have. So I'm not some sort of fanboy. I can just see it from a business perspective that, they got to make it work for them. And I'm just glad I'm not the guy that has to balance that line.
Hey, change the subject. I don't remember if you said anything, or the fact that I wasn't on. What was your opinion of this Titan?
Oh, this Titan?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's garbage. I mean, unless you are one of those collectors that wants one of every infiltrator or one of every attack Titan of every element, there are better infiltrators, there are better attack Titans. This is basically low man on a totem pole in every way, shape, or form. And while he does have buff skills and he does represent the earth element, at the end of the day, you're not going to use him over somebody else. The moment Loki is re-released, get him. The moment that a good Titan is released, you save your gems, you get that Titan. You don't settle for lower Titans, because not only are these Titans already out of meta, whenever the meta switches again, they're going to be the crap tier.
When do you think they're going to release the Myth, wait, what's it called?
Storm Maidens?
No. Norse Gods, that's what they're called. When do you think they're going to release them again? After the Storm Maidens come out?
They'll probably have events where you can get them as the Stored Maidens come out, because it'll be like a renew factor, get everyone interested again. And I mean, they put a lot of work into them. The only problem is they have let too many weeks go by without a big event, and the community is already saying that, you know, they're losing active members. And I don't think they need these massive Pantheon Norse God events. While those are nice, they need something enticing every few weeks. And it doesn't have to be something game-changing. It can be and I think they're trying to do that with new Titans. Everyone's caught on to the fact that these Titans just aren't good. They're never going to actually use them, and so they need to have some other pull in. And that's why and it's not even so much the events that they need to work on. It is the different modes of this game that we're going to play. And so more things like Theaters of War, there's like a nice little in-between event. More things like Throne Wars, more things like what we were discussing earlier. Just different modes to play the game will be enough to satisfy us between each of these major Pantheon releases. Give us good new Titans. Don't give us crap. Yeah, there you go. I'm right there with you, Cage. New game modes, Trials of Power, all of that stuff. This is the type of stuff that this game needs for... Oh, by the way, guys, that little clock that pops up is my wife's way of saying, get to bed. But I'm breaking the rules tonight. I've been married 10 years, and I'm not entirely whipped yet.
Hey, have you ever played a game called Clash Royale?
That is... Yeah, I played Clash Royale.
Okay, well... With that game, it's been going on for, 2 years now?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are either, some people who are like max 13, 13 castle, max cards and everything. They're all like, okay, there's not much to do, so they keep coming out with new cards. But here's the thing, they keep coming out with new game modes as well. This way, it's interesting to keep people interested. That's what DOT needs to do, but it's so slow though.
Well, they already have all of the things in place that they need, Pisces. Like, for example, Divine Gems, that is a whole economic system that they can expand on. Those 5-star relics are the beginning of what they could do with it. And, for example, maybe there's certain spells that you don't unlock at the castle level. Maybe they're only unlockable when you get enough Divine Gems to get there. That's what they could do with Thunderstorm. But the point is, it gives different areas for us to invest our time without giving us the same thing over and over. It's a way to extend the life of relics by exploring different items that can develop your attack and defense. I mean, there's...
that part is just... with the Trials of Power, it doesn't come out often enough to keep people really interested. The Throne Wars only came out once. I'm talking about things where instead of just max raiding, constantly hitting the same thing, like, lands or castles, different ways to battle, change it up. And it's kind of hard because, they keep throwing new Titans and new, events every week. They just don't exactly throw a new sort of way to play. They sure they throw different resources like your Divine Gems. They can enhance economic stuff, whatever else he said. But in general, it's just like the battles are the same thing over and over and over again. And is what's got me discouraged about it.
And that's why there needs to be that change of pace. And, I think most everyone's in agreement with that. And it's been pointed out that they're a small development team. I mean, you guys are nailing it on the head. But, you know, keeping this game fresh is a must if the community is going to stick with it. And, you know, reskinning, releasing Titans of a different element but happen to be basically the same as all of the other ones that we're getting, people are tired of it. And so the upcoming weeks and months are going to be big for here.
Now, I know the Stormbeams could possibly liven up the game. So I'm hoping for that to come out pretty nicely. But it's been so long since they said it takes 12 weeks, approximately 12 weeks to make new troop. And you would have thought that at the beginning of the Norse Guides coming out, that they would already start making that new troop. But no. And now it's going to be all the way in August that it gets released. So it's a bit on the bad side, but, you know, with them coming out, hopefully it will really liven up the game for players.
Good point, Pisces. Cage also says that, I mean, hits the point directly on the head here. The game's not a strategy game at the moment. It's a looter. But it has all of the things in place to switch when it needs to. But it's all about balancing options and lack of manpower over there. I just hope the lack of manpower doesn't kill this in the long run. Yeah, that's right. If you're the little guy, you have to get used to just being destroyed day in and day out. If you try to compete in Legend League, and any of you who were around at the beginning, whenever it was a bunch of level 15 people, and then the beta players in their Legend League, or in their alliances in Legend League, I mean, you literally couldn't level up anything because your garrisons were constantly on fire, and there was nothing you could do about it. Dynamics of the games change, and if you're able to change with it, it's good. But if you're not, that's when people start falling off. Well, yeah, they made a issue with Throne Wars, but it made enough of an impact that people are still talking about it today. They enjoyed the concept. The execution was wrong though, and so they put it back to the drawing board. And if they don't get the execution right after 9 months of preparation, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to, in the immortal words of one of my omelet, House of Pain, I'm just going to have to grab my knees and bend over. That's terrible. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential here. Dawn of Titans has shown the ability to make a great game, but the execution of it is what's in question now. Because let's be honest, if this was not a great game, none of us would have eventually would have started it. Unless we're super bored.
I liked it because it was different than everything else I saw in the store. You know, it was, very different now, because he had a Titan, something that could be either soloed or with troops. You had to take care of troops, and you had to take care of spells. But, you have those type of things in other games, but nothing like dynamics in, Dawn of Titans. Which is why I played so much. Oh, by the way, it took 100 of those crystals from those ruined lands to ascend one Titan.
And once again, that was back in the testing days. Imagine having to use 100 relics for your inventory to ascend. You think people are mad about relic space now?
Yeah, back then, a land would be marked as a specific one. You would only get a certain type of ruin. So if you lost that land, you get a different one. You could get a total different ruin. So ultimately, it was really difficult to get 100 of the same specific class.
Yeah, but keep in mind that they could adapt that to say, you know what, in this particular event, what you can get is runes. So, alright. Well, I'm past the hour mark, and while I was only planning this to be about 30 minutes, this has been an enjoyable session. Thank you, everyone, for your comments that we had in chat today. Thank you, Pisces, for coming. This has been one of the better theory crafting sessions and discussing what needs to happen. As long as we're all thinking the same thing, the messaging that we can provide to the developers will be more unified, and they'll know what we need to make sure we keep playing the game. Pisces, what have you got to say for us?
For the game, I hope that they bring that either what's it called, Crown Wars back, or they give us Trials of Power, because Trials of Power shouldn't be too hard. You got most of the concept down. It should be pretty simple to do a few tweaks and give it back to us. However, I do wonder what new physical titan they might give us, because, you know, I'm expecting a new physical titan, because the only titan that's really been good in physical has been Seiki. They've given him out how many times now? So, they better give us a new physical titan. And one last thing that does not include is about the game. My little spider disappeared.
Well. Alright. Born, welcome to the stream. I am sorry that we are closing up shop here, but I will try to do another stream this weekend, and I'm going to try to... Oh, go ahead.
I said, ooh, what you selling?
Well, I'm going to be selling this game as always. In other words, I wouldn't be streaming it. Alright, everybody, thank you so much for coming by and visiting the kingdom tonight. You guys have a wonderful evening. Get your goals done for this event, and get yourselves ready for the Maidens and Throne Wars, because both of those are going to be events that will change the meta and our perception of the game. No problem,
Also,
Cage.
the Fusion event on Monday.
Yeah, Fusion Event Monday. Don't forget that, everybody. We'll see all of y'all later. Thanks for your time.